070.
Hey, back on the show that's all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. You're listening to Get Down to Business. I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Get Down to Business is powered by Tandem HR, your solution center. You can find them at tandemhr.com or call 630-928-0510, 630-928-0510. You can also email them, simplify at tandemhr.com. Thrilled to be joined by Senator Mike Noland, who is running for the United States Congress. Senator, welcome to the program.
Hey, Shalom. Thank you so much. Great to be here.
So, Senator, what possibly could motivate you from to want to go from the lovely halls of the state Senate in Springfield to want to go to Washington, D.C.?
Well, some have suggested that it is as much as my running away from Springfield as it is to run towards Washington, where many are predicting I'll have an even bigger headache to deal with. But I really do believe that I can bring some added value to the dialogue as between one party or the other. You know, we have both Democrats and Republicans primarily in the Congress. And, I've learned how to work with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle in Springfield, and I really believe that I do a great job and hit the ground running in Washington.
Fantastic.
After
so
8 years in the General Assembly, I think it's time for a change.
So our listeners are asking if you were elected by the voters of the 8th Congressional District and you were elected to go to Washington, D.C., and you got a call, assuming it's still House Speaker Paul Ryan from his office, and they asked you what committees would you want to be on? What are the interests that you're most passionate about, and what committees would you want to serve on?
Oh, thank you. That's a great answer. Well, everybody wants to be on Ways and Means. That's a committee where we decide the budget. I've had an opportunity to work on the budget, not been necessarily one of the budgeteers, but always been an important vote when it came to the budget in Springfield. And so I've had an opportunity to bring some funding back to my district that might not have otherwise been obtained had I not been part of those discussions. So I'd like to be perhaps on Ways and Means. That's a very ambitious goal for a freshman, I've no doubt. But transportation as well. One of the things I'd like to see us do is to transition the Blue Line from this antiquated technology that we're currently using. If you ride on the Blue Line, heading, for example, from Cumberland down to the Central Business District of Chicago, by the time you get there, your eyes are crossed, your ears are ringing, your head is rattled, and you just feel like you've been through an amusement ride more than a simple train ride from the suburbs to the inner city of Chicago. So what I'd like to see is this transition, that Blue Line, from the current technology that we're using to light rail, which is employed in so many major cities, metropolitan areas, all across the globe, all across the world, really. And I really do believe that as a member of the Transportation Committee, I might be able to work on that and take that Blue Line that runs all along I-90, all right throughout my district, leading from downtown Chicago all the way out to Rockford, quite frankly.
Wow, we're chatting with Senator Mike Noland, who is running for the nomination for the United States Congress. And Senator, as you mentioned, you've been in the General Assembly. What is your proudest accomplishment to date?
Well, not many people have the opportunity to actually alter the Constitution of our state, but I was able to do that. That's the amendment that allows voters to now recall a governor who might be behaving badly, and we've seen a few of those over the last many years. We know the list is rather complete at this point. Let's hope it's complete. Let's hope we never ever have to recall a governor. But the amendment that allows you to do so was my resolution that placed that on the ballot and allowed voters to decide to amend our Constitution to enable them to do so. And that was in 2010 that vote was taken. And I was the chief co-sponsor, or the chief sponsor, I should say, of that resolution, and had many co-sponsors.
So absolutely, that's an important bill, and that's something that you should be proud of. And hopefully, we never have to employ those techniques. But we do have a history here in our state. So we've got about a minute remaining, Senator. How is the campaign going so far? What are you hearing from voters?
Campaign's going very well. We're leading in the polls. The polls are, the poll that's taken on Election Day, of course, is the most important one. But currently, we're in the lead. We have about a 7 or 8% lead against the two opponents, my two principal opponents. So we feel very good about that. We're getting our message out. We're reaching voters. We have probably a record number of signatures on our petitions, which is very comforting. We have wide name recognition and very positive feedback from voters at this point. It seems like the more voters hear our message, and you can go to my website, nolandforcongress.com. You can read our story, read my story as to how I was elected senator and the long road getting there to begin with. And then you can also view my position on the issues, which I think are largely reflective of the district at large, which puts us in a very strong position going into this campaign.
Well, you have an impressive story, and I hope our listeners will take the time to get on your website, nolandforcongress.com, to learn more. While the general election is in almost exactly a year, the primary, which is an important part of this campaign, is coming up just a few months away. So stay engaged in the issues. For our small business listeners, for entrepreneurs out there, you know how important these issues are, and we need you to be engaged. nolandforcongress.com. Senator Mike Noland, thanks for joining us on the program. We'll be sure to check back in with you. Get Down to Business is brought to you in part by Everett Wealth Solutions, a registered investment advisor and financial planning firm, a fiduciary advisor that helps you create your personal wealth. You can find them at everettwealthsolutions.com or call 708-771-7777. You're listening to Get Down to Business. Don't touch that dial.